Hello, everyone, and welcome to Branded, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes and beyond the brand to give you the clarity, connection, and confidence to build the business that you love. I'm super excited about today's featured guest. We are speaking with Jacqueline Capatolla. I hope that I am saying that correctly.
Mhm.
And I'm really excited to speak with Jacqueline because her and I met in a business coaching group, and we have just started to connect more and more with each other. And I really wanted to share her with you guys. So, Jacqueline is an award winning entrepreneur, author, speaker, and educator, former salon owner with over 3 decades of experience, turned to as a confidence business coach and consultant. Jacqueline, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I appreciate this. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's dive into how you went from being a salon owner for 3 decades to now turning into a confidence business coach and consultant. What has that journey been like?
Yes. So it's always been a part of me, right? I mean, being in this industry for so many years and starting off at the age of 16, I knew that something lit me up. I knew that it lit me up to help people, to help them look them feel their absolute best from a young age. So when everything happened with the pandemic and just the change in the world, I was at a crossroads and it was time for me to make some tough decisions. But I wasn't willing to give up my passion, my will, my desire for what I love, and my why. I wasn't willing to give that up. So I created this Wheel of Confidence methodology and decided I wanted to take my salon online. So I say that I'm bringing glam to the coaching industry and helping others to look and feel their absolute best that are coaching and getting on stage and putting themselves out there. And I'm loving it. It's such a great transformation from what I've done, but I'm still doing what I love, just in a new way.
Yeah, and I think that really is the true measure of like entrepreneurship and being able to make those pivots. Sometimes they're huge, right? Sometimes it's like, whoa, this is a whole new business model. And sometimes it's just that 1 degree difference where you recognize that you have an opportunity right in front of you. You don't have to just be, a brick and mortar business. You can be online. And I think a lot of business owners have discovered that, especially since the pandemic, because life was just all of a sudden jolted into everybody lived online, at least for a good little while, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I love how you say that you help women align their physical appearance with their inner strength. I think that that's actually something that not enough women are hearing about, learning about,
Right.
all the things. So, what does that look like for you whenever you're having conversations with your clients?
Yeah, I love it because, my industry, like being in the beauty industry, we were always about the outer, right? It was always about you go to the salon, you get your hair, your makeup done, you look and feel great, and then you leave the salon, and what happens? You get home, and a lot of things change, life happens, and you don't have that connection or feel as good anymore as you did in that chair. And that was something that I saw. That was the one common denominator that I saw with men, women, and children. Like we all want to look and feel our absolute best. So aligning the two was something that just came to me. This clicked in me? I'm like, you know what? There has to be more. There has to be more than just the outer appearance. It's not just that, but it makes a big difference in our business. And you can have the best marketing, you can have the finances, you can have all of that. You can have the business sense, you can have all of that. But if you don't feel aligned with the way you look and the way you feel and how that's connected to your particular style and your personality and your drive for what you want, you don't show up. You can't show up as positive or as motivated or as, in that place of your zone of genius until you get to that point of aligning the two. So my clients that I'm working with, we're putting them together. We're building this together so that it really represents you in the most powerful way.
I love that so much. And that really speaks um, to a lot of the same kind of points that I do with my clients in branding, because so often I come into contact with people and they want to immediately start talking about the colors they're going to use and the fonts they're going to use and all the outer stuff, right?
Right,
All the things that you just see from the outside looking in. And I'm
right.
like, whoa, 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 hold the phone. we
Yeah,
got to talk about the inside stuff first. Like, because
exactly.
if you're, like you say, if you're not aligned to how you actually feel, the
Yeah,
things that truly make you happy, the things that really light you up inside, if you're not aligning to those things, if you're simply aligning to what you think you, quote, should do, what other people are expecting you to do, look like, be like, all the things, well, then you're totally out of alignment and you're not going to feel connected to
mhm,
that image, right? Whether that be your own self image or not, right? So
exactly.
I think
Exactly.
it's really important.
It is. You have to have that authenticity with yourself, within yourself. You can't show up and try to be something you're not. So, if you are classic or you're edgy or you're romantic and you're trying to be a rock star or you're trying to be something else and bringing on that personality of like all the scrolling you're doing and you're seeing what everyone else is and you think, like, oh, I got to do that, but it's not you and it doesn't connect with who you are, it doesn't come off as right. It doesn't come off like it does for that person. And that's
Mhm.
okay because you need to find your own unique style. And that's what I love to help you do.
Yeah. And that's it really is super, super important work because I remember when I was first starting out building my business online, I was absolutely guilty of playing the comparison game nonstop. I would be scrolling Instagram going, okay, yeah, that looks awesome. That looks cool. I guess I could try to replicate that. Sure, I suppose I could look like that. But then when it all came down to it, it was way more work than I wanted to do because it wasn't me. It didn't naturally portray me and my personality. So it ended up being, it was like pulling teeth to try
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do some simple tasks, right?
Yeah.
And so, yes, I know at some point you kind of have to trudge through the mud to figure out the things you don't want. But
Hmm.
that's what I think is so vital about like mentorship, coaching, business coaching, all that kind of stuff is it just helps you hyper speed because you're connected to somebody who did it wrong for a little while,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. It is when we step into this, right? When we step into owning who we are and what we're really here to do, our given purpose, right? Our God given purpose of what we're here to do is when it really happens. The magic happens then because we are being ourselves. We're being authentic. We're being true to who we are. And that's what people connect with. They want
Yeah.
connection. They want to know you and understand you. They want to see your brand. And you know this because you're such an expert at what you do. And they want to see your brand as you and how you show up. And I always tell my clients, you are the face of your brand. You are your brand. Your brand is you. So, when you have that alignment, when you feel that desire between what it is you're trying to portray and where you're going and how people perceive you, it's so much better when it's authentic and when it's coming from your true essence of who you are, right? Because
Mhm.
that's the name of the game. That's the name of the game. You want to be that X factor, you want to be that go-to expert. You want people to connect with you and know you, and you want them to know when they think of what you do, like if they're finding someone in branding or they're finding a particular coach, they think of you because you're
Mhm.
yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, so I heard about a month ago, I was at a conference and one of the speakers, she was talking about your it factor. And I
Mhm.
think this is something that, a lot of people hear, oh, your it factor. And you think it's like you've got to be this super chic, super trendy, like that's what it means to have an it factor. And it doesn't. And she kind of debunked like what the quote unquote it factor is. And the it
Yeah.
factor is what it really boils down to more times than not, it's all those unique parts of us that we're trying to hide from, that we're
Yes.
too scared to actually step into because we don't think that it fits the mold of what society expects us to be. So
Yeah.
we just say, no, 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 I'm not going to show those parts of me because that's too quirky, that's too bold, that's too whatever.
Mhm.
And then we hide them. And then we wonder why our dream clients can't find us. It's because they're playing Where's Waldo? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you're
Yes.
contributing to the noise instead of standing out.
Yes. And that is so true. That's exactly what happens. And when I work with my clients, that's we knock that out right away. Because if you don't take that time to really dive into who you are and your being, the it factor, the X factor, whatever you want to call it, right? It's you. It's who you are. It's not anyone else. It's you. It's you showing up as your true authentic self. It's you putting yourself out there with all your flaws, all your imperfections, all the things that have led you to where you're at now, because so many things have led us to where we're at. Failure is growth, right? So if we're afraid to be, in front of the camera like this, we don't feel comfortable. That takes consistency, that takes repetition, that takes practice, training like an athlete and doing these reps to get ourselves out there. And then that makes us be more of this, forward thinking person, and more of the trendsetter or whatever. But trends come and go. Trends
Right.
come and go. We want to stay. We want people to understand us and know us for who we are, and we want to be long term. We don't want to just be a trend.
Right. And that is so huge for any business conversations that I ever have with anybody. When it comes to talking about content strategy, when it comes to talking about your brand, when it comes to talking about your self care routine, like it does not matter what you're talking about. What you have to really ask yourself is this sustainable? Is this a sustainable practice that not only I can continue doing consistently, but that will last for however much time you want to have this platform, right? And so I think that that really goes in line with what you were just saying. Like it's got to be, don't just follow the trends. Like
Yeah,
they come and go
yeah,
that so quickly that you get whiplash.
yeah. That's so true. You do, they do,
Yeah.
and it's just people want to see you. They want to know who you are, and when they meet you, they want to meet you as you are, like this on camera. Like you want to show up who you are. You don't want to change it from being behind the camera or being in front of the camera to being in person. Like you want people to get you and understand like who you really are, and the genuine person that you are, for what it is you believe in, where you're going, how you can help them, and just help them get the results that they need, and that makes the connection with your dream client that you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. So, share with me a little bit how you kind of decided that you were ready to rediscover your business in a new way. Because I guarantee there are some women and maybe men too listening to this right now and thinking, yeah, but that's for them. Like, I
Yeah,
could never do that. I could never start my own business, have my own podcast. Like, let's talk about what that looked like for you
yeah,
rediscovering the business.
yeah. So it was scary at first, right? When all this was going on and I had to make some tough decisions. I had a salon in downtown Pittsburgh in a very historic building, in the Grant building. It's a very historic building in downtown Pittsburgh, a beautiful location. I was not really ready to retire or give up my salon. I'm 56. I was ready to do something else, but everything was changing, and with everything that went on, I had to make the tough decisions. I was no longer going to stay in this way of like letting that defeat me or letting that determine where I was going. I had a passion and a desire to sell my business someday, to exit my business, to have to be able to retire in the way that I wanted to. That did not happen the way that I wanted to. No, I could have laid down and just quit, and I could have said, okay, that's it. I'm sorry. I can't do this anymore. But no, because something more was driving for me. I had this desire burning inside of me, this bigger calling. Don't give up. Keep pushing through. And for anybody that is listening here today, the women that are listening here today, if you're in a pivotal moment or you're in a moment of shift in your business, you don't have to give up. There are ways that you can intertwine what you do to make something more beautiful, right? So I knew that I wasn't going to stop. It was my why and my passion and my desire for all these years since I was a little girl. I was not going to let this defeat me or define me. And I decided, you know what? I can do this coaching. I've been doing coaching throughout. I was an educator in the industry, and I've trained a lot. I've trained my staff. I went in and did corporate trainings inside of my building that I was in, and downtown Pittsburgh Fashion Week. I knew there was more. I knew I could do this coaching, and I dove into it. And I said, yes, I can do this. I can share this, because over COVID, what did they need? People needed hairdressers, they needed us, right? So I went online and I was coaching them through that when we were shut down. So there it was right there. I'm like, that's it. I'm creating this wheel of confidence methodology, aligning the two. I see the gap, what we're missing in our industry, and I want to fill this void in the coaching industry to be able to share with the women in the coaching industry. Yes, you can step into this, look your absolute best, and really own who you are and be that X factor, it factor for yourself in this industry. And that was my desire and my passion that I wasn't going to lose. So you don't have to lose it either.
Yes, absolutely. And I think if the pandemic taught us anything, it's that the people that are willing to pivot and willing to kind of be a little bit courageous before they have any level of confidence, like
Yeah.
those are the people that are going to rise to the top quickest because they're willing to kind of step into the pain and be like, you know what? I'm probably going to fuck up just a little bit, probably going to
Yes.
make a few mistakes, but it's
Mhm.
okay because I know that it's possible. And honestly, for me, like in 2020, when things shifted, and I got furloughed from my job. Thankfully I got brought back and I still have that full-time job while building my full-time business online, right? So it can be done, right? You don't
Yeah.
have to be a stay-at-home mom. You don't have to not have a 9 to 5. You don't have to be an expert in anything. If
Yeah.
you have a desire, the possibility is there. And that is one of the biggest premises of this podcast is to bring you everyday women that have decided to do the thing that probably is scaring the shit out of you to do,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
take the step and no pressure, right? If you're not ready for it, if you don't want it, that's fine. Listen to the conversation and be inspired. But I know there's plenty of women out there that say no to opportunities because they simply think it's just not for them. And I thought that for over 30 years. I thought that.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
I know differently, and I'm not going to shut up about it.
I love it. I love it. That's right. I mean, that's what we need to do. There, I was lying in my bed filled with fear and overwhelm. Didn't know like what am I doing here? What am I doing? But I saw a vision. I saw something that I really, really desired and wanted to do. And I didn't know exactly what it was. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I saw it. I knew it was there. I knew that, it was something that was tugging me, and I just stepped into it and I trusted and
Mhm.
I believed in myself and I had the faith, to trust it and realize, yes, there's something there. I don't quite see it. I don't quite know what it is, but it's there and I want it and I'm going after it and I'm not stopping and I'm not letting this situation defeat me. So I would just say for everyone listening, go after it. Don't give up. Even on the hard days, even when you're crying and lying in your bed or you're eating a tub of ice cream on the kitchen floor, right? Just go after it and it will show up for you. Eventually, it will show up.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. If something is for you, you're not going to be able to ignore it. I mean, you can
No.
self-sabotage your way around it for a really long time,
Yeah.
but if something is for you, it will continue to show itself to you until you finally say, "Okay, already. I'll
Yes.
go do it."
Yes.
And I would
Exactly.
say too, for anybody that is considering starting a business or just taking that leap of faith, it is so much more important to understand why you want that, not how it's going to happen. The how will always sort itself out. And I know that sounds like total BS. And I thought that too whenever I first got started because I'm such a creature of like, I need to have all the systems and I need to know all the steps of what's going to happen in what order. But really, that's not life. Life
No.
is already happening and you sort of okay, think of it this way. This actually just came to my mind. If you've seen the movie Finding Nemo,
Yes.
where they have the turtles that are in the current
Yeah.
and they sort of pop out and then they pop in, the current is like, this is life. It's going. It's going
Yes.
whether you're in it or not. So all you have to do is just pop yourself in and then boom, it's already happening. Like, so the how is already in motion and it's almost like
Mhm.
it's just waiting for you to arrive.
I love
It's
that.
kind of the coolest thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I love that. That's awesome.
So, I want to ask you about your 360 confidence total makeover. And with this, paired with this question, I would like to know exactly like who is this for?
Yeah.
this kind of work?
I love it. Thank you. That's an awesome question. So, the 360 Confident Total Makeover is a complete inner and outer makeover. 360. I'm talking like your outer appearance with the way that you look, the way you feel, the way you're showing up. The attraction of what you are, like with your style, your hair, your makeup, all of it related to the inner, right? We're talking about the inner and outer. So the 360, the inner would be your mindset, would be your energetics, would be your health and wellness, would be your relationships, things like that, your relationships within your home, your family, yourself. I love to teach a lot on self relationship, self development, because that is where the true shift has to happen. And then aligning that with the outer. So that is where the complete 360 comes to play, which makes it different and unique because I'm actually giving you all the beauty tips that you need for your fashions, your style. What are you? You edgy, you fun, are you classic? Whatever you are, we find out your personality. And then I'm also aligning that with your inner, which I have taken multiple courses and development, personal development courses along the way to help me get me prepared for that. But I believe being behind the chair for, all these years, over 3 decades, behind the chair is a powerful place. That's a quote in my book. And it is. And I've seen so much in that chair. I've dealt with so much between helping women with cancer or going through divorce or the happy times, the weddings, the showers, like the happy times. I understand that inner feeling of like how you look and feel, and then the world takes over and the world wants to bring you down and things happen. So I love the 360 because it is a total inner and outer experience. The women today that are working with me, we have a full blown, I love the VIP days. The VIP days are the best because we do this whole package. We do the inner work, we do the outer work. You get a photo shoot, you get a promotion, production day. You get so much value out of this. You get the best looks and style. I help you to find your style that goes with your personality, and then everything you can use for your website, you can use for your for your social marketing, your social media, whatever you need to use it for marketing. And you can have it for yourself, because that's the most important thing, is to discover yourself, your true essence of who you are and how you stand out and what makes you different than any other business out there. Because there's a lot of businesses that are doing what we do, but we need to stand out, and the way we do that is aligning our physical appearance with our inner strength and becoming that true essence of who we are.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh, that's so good. And I was just thinking too, when you were saying this, like how incredibly needed this work is, especially for women building businesses online, because
Yeah.
I come across so many that, okay, let's revamp my website. Let's revamp my brand. And I'm like, awesome. Send me some photos of you that, where you're just totally crushing it. And because you have to be the face of your brand, right? Like we already said.
Yeah.
I would say 90% of the business owners that I work with are like,
Yeah.
here's a photo of me. Like, can you crop out my daughter? Or, it's like really tight in on their face. And I'm like, you're beautiful, but this is not the best photo to use.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, if you're a business owner and you're listening to this, like you need waist up at the very least. You need some waist up photos. You need
Yeah.
full body photos. You need some lifestyle, like of you just laughing, maybe some a little bit more professional. But yeah, having that variety and being able to point these women in the right direction and guide
Mhm.
them and say, all right, let's go to a photo shoot. And on top of that, you can be super confident going into it because you've already done the work
Yeah.
leading up to it.
I love that, because I am kind of like the pre-work to your work, right? Because
Yes,
they could come to me, they could get their style, they could get their fashion, they could get who they are. I'm sorry, I talk a lot with my hands. I'm Italian. I should
me
be
too.
sitting on my hands. But yeah, it's just it's fun because they get to do that pre-work with me first, and they show up, then they come to you, and then they're ready to really like market and get it out there and share what they do and show what they do. Now they're aligned to who they are and what they represent, and then you take it to new levels, right? I love it. I
Yeah.
love this.
Yeah, what a Nice pairing. I mean, that's so
Yes.
fabulous. So, do you primarily work with women building businesses, or are you working with women who are just like, I just need to feel better about myself? Like, what's your primary
Yes.
client?
Yeah. So my niche is, I definitely love to work with women entrepreneurs, right? Because I believe they need to build this for their website and things like that. However, I mean, I definitely can help women that just want to show up. I'm middle aged. I know what happens in our midlife. Sometimes we feel like we want to show up better and be, find ourselves again. Sometimes we lose ourselves at certain ages, especially as our children grow up and then we have grandchildren. So I'm not, I still can do that, but my niche is definitely the woman owned business because it relates with me. I've been a business owner for so long and I love to help women owned businesses, speakers, coaches, consultants, be able to step on that stage or to step on a call like this, a Zoom or StreamYard, and feel confident, right? Feel confident what they're doing, feel great in their presence and the way they look. So that is, the CEOs, the leaders, the executives, they always have room for elevation, right? People say to me, well, how do you help women that are already at that level? They already are confident. And I'm like, yes, they are confident. They have never got to this level without confidence. But there's always room for more confidence. There's always room for more elevation because as we grow and change in our business, the new level of confidence needs to come, right? It doesn't matter if you're making $50,000, $100,000, or $1 million. You have a new level of confidence that needs to be there with every level of leadership. So helping the woman that's just getting started, yes, because she definitely needs to find that beginning stage of where she's at, and helping the woman that's ready to up level from going from maybe like $100,000 and more. She needs to have another level and then beyond that. So there's always different rooms for elevation. My program is based to that. Like I can help at different levels of wherever I meet you, where you're at in your business and where you need to be.
I love that so much. And I think that that's so true that you say, you see somebody speaking on a stage and you're like, oh, they must have all of their shit together.
Yeah,
And it's
they do.
like, well, yes, to a degree, but
Yeah,
also no, because
right.
we are all human. Nobody
Yeah,
is perfect. And we are always evolving and expanding. And like you say, when you go through that level of expansion, of elevating, and you're sort of evolving into this new realm, your business and your brand is hopefully coming with you, right? At the same
definitely.
time. But now you've opened up this whole new space that is inevitably going to be filled with something, right? So filled with what? Let's
Right.
really be intentional what we fill this new expanded space with and tap into the tools and the resources and the people
Yeah.
that you connect with. So I love the work that you're doing. This is so
Thank you.
fabulous.
Thank you so much. I love it. It lights me up. I love doing this. This has been in my life, my purpose since I was a young girl. I knew at a young age, and I just love being able to take it to this new level and help women in this new way. It's just amazing. And it lights me up when I see the transformation in my clients and just see, we cry through the sessions, we get to a new place, and it's just amazing. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I bet there's plenty of tears, but oh my gosh, is that such a release? And I bet on the other side of that,
It is.
there's so much newfound confidence and clarity and empowerment. Like and that's the thing with growth and evolution and kind of going through that expansion. It means that there's a little bit of like a shedding of an old identity, and that's okay. I think a lot of people resist work like this. They'll say all day that they want it, but are they really going to do the work to get it?
Yes.
Because we
Yes.
know it's not really pretty. The work
No,
to get there isn't
no.
glamorous.
No, no. Entrepreneurship is so hard, right? It's hard. It's wonderful. It's filled with so many different emotions, like so many different layers to it, right? And you have to be willing to push through that. And it's not always easy. It's not always glamorous, and it's not always perfect. But that's the ones that really get through and get to the next level, because they realize that if I had not taken those opportunities, or I didn't want to step into that, where would I be today? I wouldn't be able to help the people and impact the world that I can today doing this, had I been, just gave up. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's you go through a lot as a woman entrepreneur, but it's all worth it if you really have the desire and the passion for it, and you're really aligned with it, and it's really true to who you are. It's not for everyone. It's not for
Right.
everyone. But
Yeah.
it's for a lot of people that really have that passion and desire.
Yeah. It definitely isn't for everyone. And for a long time, I thought it wasn't for me. And
Mhm.
what I came to discover was I was super, super hungry to finally start showing up in my own life. And I
Yeah.
didn't know what that would look like, how that would be, what avenues I would take to get there. But the moment I saw just that glimpse of possibility, that I could show up differently, that I could have more self responsibility, that I could lead myself better, that I could understand myself better. Like
Yes.
just seeing that glimpse of possibility, I couldn't unsee it, and I was not turning back. I was done just kind of going through the motions,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I lived the
I
last
love
3
it.
decades of my life.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I could just hear the growth in your voice and how far you've come, and the possibilities and opportunities you took, and you didn't give up either. And that's what's so important, because people need us. They need us to show up, right? Especially in this world today. We need to
Mhm.
show up for what it is that we can help them with, what it is that we're good at. And you're good and amazing at what you do. Women need you, and they need what I do. And if we give up, then what happens? Then what happens? Nobody's there to really help the rest of us evolve. The rest of us get to where we're going. It's not about us. It's about who we
Yeah.
help, right? So I love what you're doing, and I congratulate you on all your success.
Yeah, thank you. Same to you. All right, you guys. So you've got to get connected with Jacqueline. I mean, she's such a sweet soul. Obviously, if you've listened to this episode this far, you know you want to get connected with her. So head over to the show notes, and you can find her at jacquelin'shouseofbeauty.com. And she also is, of course, on Facebook, and has a private community called Jacqueline's Inside Out. And she is there to support and nurture and educate and all the things. Is there anything you'd like to finish us out with, Jacqueline?
I would just say, if you are at a crossroads in your life, and something is tugging on your heart, what I would suggest is to just be still. Be still for a little bit and let it soak in, and really dive into like what it is you want, what brings you happiness. And there may be some people that don't agree or don't understand where you're going. They don't see your vision, but that's okay, because it's your vision. And if you stay true to it, they will see eventually what you're trying to do, and how amazing it really is. So stay trying, stay positive, and just stay focused and go for it.
Absolutely. Don't contribute to the noise, right? You do
Yes.
you.
Yes.
I
And
love it.
thank you for having me. That's one last thing I would love. Thank you for having me. I appreciate being in this opportunity to share this with your audience. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. All right, you guys, until next time, hop over to the show notes and go connect with Jacqueline.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to Branded, the podcast. Please rate and review. And for more information, visit socialjanemedia.com. I'll see you soon.